Hey guys, Jason for Chart Guys, taking a look at silver. The silver bulls are still on a complete rampage, showing a lot of strength out of the gate and strength today in particular. But we're going to start looking at the monthly time frame. We have resistance at 21.11. This is going to be key resistance for the bulls to get over. We also have some resistance here at 20.10, and that's simply because we hit our high, we pulled back, and bulls made another attempt, and that was as far as they were able to go before a bigger dump. So we need to be paying close attention to what's happening up at this level. There is a minor resistance here from way back on October 3rd. Is that correct? October 3rd, yes, 2016. So quite a long time ago. But again, we're looking at the monthly time frame right at 19.29. I would just use caution on that one. I would even mark it as a dashed line saying, let's just see what happens if we get here, and keep it as a curiosity more than a traditional resistance that we're going to be betting against or for. On the monthly time frame, resistance and support is established over here at 14.273, quite a long ways down, so no real concern for us to get there at this time. And in fact, on the monthly time frame, our RSI is not even overbought. We're at 65.79, so bulls still have a little bit of room to go. On the weekly time frame, this is where things start to really pick up. We need to see some sort of pullback because our RSI is at 82.35. And RSI is a relative strength index. It basically says, are people paying more for it now than they have been recently? And if they're paying a lot more, you expect that the price average, I guess, is going to come down to match the more historical levels. That's a really roundabout way of saying or explaining a very, very complex tool. I encourage you to go look up the calculations and determine what it is. In fact, everyone, if you're using any of these indicators, you should have a really keen and thorough understanding of what they actually mean. If you're making financial decisions based on numbers that some guy's talking about on YouTube, you should at least know what those numbers mean and what they mean to you, and use that information to help assist your trading rather than just listen to someone talking about silver. But anyway, I digress. Weekly time frame RSI, like I said, 82.34. We need to see some pullback. Our last weekly support is not for quite a while 15.90. So we got a long way up, a long way down, and without having built any basis of support in the weekly time frame, we can fall just as quickly as we've gone up. I think it's unlikely at this point given the strength that the bulls have, but they will need to rest. On the daily time frame, this is what that rest looks like, a higher low pattern. We're seeing that come into play. Our last low is over here. We have a daily support at 18.028. Our RSI 81.57 coming up against that old resistance from October 3rd, 19.297. We need to see if we get any sort of slowdown up at this level, and then we'll be looking for potential trend changes. Anytime we get close to resistance level, we look for trend change potential. Often what that will look like is a rejection from that level, maybe a 15-minute EQ, maybe a trend loss, something to indicate that there is an actual resistance here that's going to pull the energy out of the bulls and give the bears an opportunity to push back and get that daily, that weekly, monthly consolidation. On the 4-hour time frame, well, actually on the daily time frame, still no slowdown in sight for the bulls. They're really going for it. 4-hour bulls did a lot of that work in the last 8 hours or so of today's trading range. They've pushed a new high. They've broken out of this slow stair-step action over 18.543. So there's that resistance right there. Looks like a double top, and we just got over that and back test EMA 12 support before that confidence really comes into play, and we hit that hourly rocket ship up, now consolidating in an hourly bull flag. This actually looks a lot better than the gold one. If you're watching the gold video, we had a similar situation, but notice how this is just much more linear, even though we're over 3 trading periods of a good volume, and now we're getting nice consolidation in a nice tight range. If we go to the 5-minute time frame, it's probably really well contained right in there, and you can see that action just holding steady. And you ignore my poorly drawn lines, but we are in a little bit of a 15-minute equilibrium. 19.4, 19.14, 19.145, and getting these lower highs, higher lows, and setting up for a pretty good move here. The spring is coiling on silver, and if we can get a nice bull break, right now the signal would be a break of 19.145 through that resistance, and if we see any hesitation at all, a little bit of a pullback for former resistance to act as support, and then we'll see if these bulls can continue the party. But if we get up here and we start to see some resistance, we're going to look for that 15-minute trend change, which is going to be a loss of this 15-minute higher low pattern and a bear break of this EQ, this potential EQ rather. That's when we start to scope for some short entries and looking for potential longs once we run into areas of resistance again, former resistance now acting as support. 18.543 is going to be the next one on the 15-minute and hourly time frame. Anyway, that's it for today. If you guys like technical analysis, I encourage you to learn as much as you can. And if you need some help, come check out TheChartGuys.com or just email me. I'll send you some resources, some books, some other websites, whatever you want.